Hey everybody, welcome back to the Brain Homestead. Sitting out here getting ready to do the next poll right here. Anybody that follows the channel, this is going to be my video number 7, as you know. Now this is going to be a smaller pear tree. It's about 6-inch diameter pear tree. It was about 40 feet tall, something like that. And it's right up by the house. It's covered in bamboo. It's actually that one right back there that I already have hooked up. But before we get to that, I'm going to try something different with this first, but before we get to that, I'm going to address just a couple things I've seen a lot in the comments here. I just want to kind of explain why I'm doing things a certain way. So I'm going to show you, let me flip it around and I'll explain as I go. All right, so the first thing I get is almost everybody tells me like, oh, grind the stumps, grind the stumps. I'm like, that's good, but here in Georgia where I'm at, it's actually really bad. I did that for a while, but I ran into a problem. My problem ends up being something like this. You guys, I don't think you can see it right here, but there's a huge divot right here. This is all, I flatten this out every year. And there's a divot right here, and there's just low spots all through here, all over the place. And what it is, there used to be a stump right in here, right where I'm standing right now. And all these low spots all throughout the yard here, and this was ground years ago, they keep sinking every year for a couple of reasons. One reason why is because termites get into all those here, and then they eat it away, and then it rots, and then the ground sinks in. Then I come in the next year, like, hey, here's some more roots, and then I have to dig out the dirt again. And after I dig out the dirt, and then I dig out, like, you know, all the termites and everything like that, and then I fill it back in. I'm like, okay, I think I got all of it, and then I don't, and then I have to do it again over and over and over again. So it is not easier, it is not quicker to use a stump grinder. It's just not. Also, here's where a stump came out. Still can't hardly get anything to grow in here. This was a couple of years, and if you look, there's mushrooms that keep growing up in here too, and with a dog that has a sensitive stomach, that ends up being a problem. So that's a couple reasons. Termites infested underground. We have those stupid subterranean termites, so they get in there, and then the ground like caves in every year a little bit more, and in order to keep it, so you can walk across it without rolling your ankle, I have to keep filling it in. Number 2, second comment here, is never pull with your toe ball. I understand that. That makes a lot of sense to me. People got really upset when I was pulling with my toe ball. Now, the issue is the last couple of times I was only pulling at idle. 200-300 pounds of force, maybe 400, I don't know, but significantly less than 1,000, right? A 3/4 inch shank on here has a minimum shear force of 7,000 pounds, so I'm nowhere near that. Even if I could hang the entire car by that tow ball all the way off the ground, and that's only about halfway. This is a 3,500 pound car, and that's only halfway to reaching the shear force strength. So why would people say that? Why are you worried about that? And the reason why is because when you're doing a recovery with a 12,000 pound winch, if you get a vehicle that's stuck down in the ditch, or if it's, maybe not in the greatest shape, rusted out or things like that, obviously it could break a lot easier. This is not rusted out. There's a little bit of surface rust on it, but that's all. And there's no way I'm over 1,000 pounds, probably only a few hundred pounds at most. I'm not doing it anymore because that was like all my comments. Don't pull from that. I'm like, I get it. I understand what you're talking about, but it's not the same thing as throwing, a snatch block around it, heading to a winch that's 12,000 pound winch where you can get, tens of thousands of pounds of pressure on it. It's just not that case. And then lastly, you notice I have a hose going out here. Had a lot of people say, you know what? Soak the ground first. It'll make life a lot easier. So I've had this going for about a day now. Okay, as you can see here, nice and, I guess I need to move the hose around a little bit. And I'm not going to do the pull until this afternoon. It's about noon right here. And you've got this stupid bamboo that keeps popping up around here. And so I'm really trying to get the ground all saturated here as much as I can. And the reason why, now here's the setup here. And the reason why, if we come down here, that I want it to be so loose, even though it's only a 6-inch stump, by the way, let's count it out here. Everybody that's familiar with the channel, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's a 5-to-1 system right here. Goes down here around the end. The first set of 5 is right here. And then this is the end of the first cable. Now we have a second cable here, and right here on the bottom, this is the start of the second cable. So now again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have a 5 to 1. That's this guy into another 5 to 1. So that's 25 to 1 because it's a compound system, not complex. I was incorrectly calling it a complex system. Complex system is actually something different. It's a compound system. So that's where it's set up now, anchored there. And here's the end of it. That's a 2 to 1 because now we have, so it's a 25 to 1 right here. And then with these two, it ends up being a 50 to 1. And the reason why is because, for example, this ends up being a 2 to 1. So right here and right here. So if I put 100 pounds of pressure right here, and that means that there's 100 pounds of pressure right here, meaning there's 200 right here at this point. So if there's 200 on this guy, then that means that so if there's 200 on this guy, there's 200 here and here and here and here. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So that's 1,000 pounds. So now I have 1,000 pounds of force here. Right here, I have 1,000 pounds because everything's anchored to this one spot. So now I have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. So now I have 5,000. So with me putting 100 pounds of force on this guy, I end up with 5,000, and everything's anchored to that one point. So I end up with 5,000 pounds right there. So 100 in, 5,000 out, that's a 50 to 1 mechanical advantage. Now, I'm going to try this at first. So where's this going? I'm going to get laughed at. Is this silly? Probably, but I'm going to try it anyway. I had somebody bring it up, and this is something that I don't know if I can do it or not. This rope is anchored all the way down there to that tree. It goes across there. And the reason why, okay, this is dumb. Make fun of me. I don't care. I have this guy right here. I just kind of it's just kind of like lashed around there right now. I'm going to try to put myself in here, and I'm going to see if I can't pull it by hand. A 50 to 1. If not, I'm going to see if I can get the wife to help out a little bit. Not sure if it'll work or not. Probably not. If you don't see it in the title about how I successfully did it, then probably, because I'm not going to do the clickbait thing and just, show that I'm doing it. But if it doesn't work, I'm not going to say anything about it in the title video. So if there's nothing about it in the title of the video, then it didn't work. But it's worth a shot anyway. So I'm going to put myself in here. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to try to, basically straddle this line. This is the other end of the line, and try to pull myself towards that tree. And if not, then I'll use this rope here, tie it around something, so that way I have something to pull with as I'm driving forward too. And we'll see if it works. No idea. Is it kind of goofy? Yep. But I'm going to give it a shot anyway. So in here, hopefully before too long, if it gets popular enough here, I might try to get a force meter, because that's something I've always wondered about. How much force? I understand in theory this is a 50 to 1, but I mean, come on, there's losses everywhere. You have a little bit of stretch. You have all the pulleys have all the pulleys have losses. These pulleys have losses. There's stretch to it. How much force is actually required and how much is just wasted? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I would like to know the answer to that. The problem is force meters are like the one that I would look at that can go up high enough, which is like 10 tons, like $1,800. Well, I'm not doing that for a hobby. Unless the channel becomes more, unless people really want to see it, it gets a little more successful, then I sure will. By the way, this should help everybody out. Look, I actually wrapped it this time. I didn't just do what do they call that, basket? Anyway, I actually wrapped it, so that should be good. Man, there's a lot of tension under there already. I'm going to get away from that. So I'm going to go ahead. That's the end of this video right now, or the end of, this is kind of the introduction. So we're going to get back to work. I'm just on my lunch break right now. I work from home. And by the way, those are the next two. I'm going to take that down. I'm going to redo that because it's still a nice chair. It's just the paint and everything's coming off of it. And then that one's next, and that one. They're a lot taller, but man, they're a lot bigger too. Hopefully the termites ate enough of the roots. I can just get them to pull over without too much effort. So the next thing you'll see is me getting to it and seeing if I can do it without hurting myself. All right, everybody, here we go. Got the GoPro set up. Water hose out of the way. It's nice and saturated all around in this area right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back here. There's already this is already kind of like decent amount of tension on this. Not tons, but a decent amount anyway. All right, so I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna get this harness on right there myself. I'm gonna see if I can get the phone set up here to keep an eye on things, because the wife's not home yet. And I wanna go ahead and give this one shot real quick before she gets home. So that way, if she gets home and it just doesn't work, I can tell her, make it look like I'm like, you know, more mature, because I'm like, hey, you know what, I thought about this. Trying to pull it by hand is a really bad idea, so I'm not gonna do that. But if it does work, then I don't know. Hopefully she won't make fun of me too bad. So let's give it a shot. Okay, so I pulled it about 30 feet. But if you go, that's because it's a 50 to 1, let's call it 25 feet. Actually, I think I pulled about 25 feet. That makes math nice and simple. So what that means is I actually only moved about 6 inches on the end. So I'm gonna go take a look real quick, see if I can notice any difference at all. It looks like it's leaning. I'm gonna keep going. All right, everybody. So it was working. It was really working. Sapphire's happy about it. There's only one problem. My wife came home. She caught me red-handed. So I didn't quite have enough. I think I have enough strength. I just don't have the endurance to do this because I kept making progress until I completely gassed out. So I put up a poll yesterday, and one of the options was, do you think I can pull it by hand? And one answer was, yes, but with the help of your wife. And now I have, as you notice, 1 sling, 2 slings. So she's going to be a good sport about it here and give me a hand. So one person could do it. I just don't have the endurance. Maybe if I was 20 years younger, but let's see if 2 people can do it. Well, let's go take a look.
You tell them.
We put our daughter in an extra saucer right on the deck there while we did that real quick. And she's just looking at us, wasn't bouncing or nothing. She's just looking at us like, what are you guys doing? So, and their supervisor. Oh, wow, yeah, look at that. It leaned quite a bit now.
That's great.
Getting to be an opening there. So the problem is, ran out of room. We pulled it 100 feet and a 50 to 1, so that means that we moved the top about 2 foot. Now it's not actually real because there was some slack in it and some stretching and things like that, but I'm going to work on getting this reset, and then after I get it reset, then we'll give it a shot again. All right, back here again. This is the tree that I was hooked onto. Decided to move the car there. That car is probably about another from where this was, a good 10, 25, 30 feet, something like that. But remember, it's that 30 feet ends up being 60 feet of travel. And so because it's a 2 to 1, so 60 feet of travel means we pulled it about a foot right there. So anyway, I have that right there. We're gonna do the same thing now. With 2 people, it was definitely much easier. Like it wasn't even too bad. Like I was probably at, when I was doing it by myself, I was at 100% for, not right away, but after a while it got to be 100% and you're wearing out. That time I was probably only about, 50%, maybe 60%, something like that, but it was much easier the second time. So we have these 2 guys again, and we're making sure the daughter's getting fed right now, and then as soon as we're done with that, then we're going to come back out and we're going to pull it. But we are out of, that's basically the end of how far I can pull it. So after we pull it this time, which is going to be another 100 feet, because that cable from down there is like 94 feet all the way to right here to where this guy is right here, that's 94 feet. And you can see the shackle and the end of it is right here at the end. So this is the full length of the rope. So if I pull it the whole length, that's basically 100 feet. That's another 2 feet. And if I'm able to do that, I'm definitely going to call this a win. Yeah, I'm definitely going to call this a win, by the way. Changed out all the appliances. I need to take them to the junkyard still. Nothing wrong with them. But yeah, I can't believe it's not near as bad as what I thought it was going to be. And I can make this into, I figured out today, I have enough pulleys with 9 pulleys to make it a 512 to 1 if I wanted to, but you need 9 ropes, and I don't have 9 ropes. And that also means that on the last rope, you're gonna have to walk 512 feet in order to move it on the end, in order to get that to go by 1 foot. That's obviously You could do it, but I don't have enough room to do that here. I'd have to put redirect pulleys on trees and then end up snaking it through trees just to pull it that far. But obviously that's not required. I could actually probably get on a lawnmower and pull this thing. So anyway, it's going good so far. I'm gonna get back to it. All right, so as you notice, we ended up walking, so we ended up taking it all the way. We started about right here. So we walked another, 80 feet or so. And we just wrapped everything around the tree to keep it under tension. So I'm gonna go take a look, zoom out here. I'm a little out of breath. And we're gonna go take a look at this tree. Now, I am pretty much, we could keep resetting it because it's not too bad. Now with 2 people, we can actually do this pretty easily. I'm pretty sure the wet ground has helped. Obviously, we're not having a problem here. So I'll tell you what, I'm gonna call this a win because the only reason why we can't get it any further is just because out of room and we're running out of daylight. Now, if I had one more pulley, I could actually redirect it around that tree and pull in a different direction. So, but this is already working really nice. It's pulling everything up. We heard it pop out, so no, working really well. I'm gonna call this a win. It's not all the way out, I get that, but the hardest part is done. And since the hardest part is done, there's no reason why we can't do the rest of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can get probably just the tractor actually and do a redirect and just drag the tractor and then just drag it out the rest of the way. All right, so I modified this. I'm just gonna go ahead and finish it off with the car real quick. We got it. It's good enough, right? If I had more room, I could get it out by hand. Or if I wanted to keep resetting it, I could keep, reset the cables. And after I reset the cables, pull some more, and then reset the cables and pull some more. We got the hardest part done. So what I'm doing now is I got this. I left the first part the same. This is still 5 to 1 there. But then the second cable, which is these 2 guys right here, that is just going around 1. It's going around 1. So you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a 3 to 1. So this is right now a 15 to 1. But as you see, I'm out of room if I want to go that way. I don't like that. So what I'm doing instead is I have this guy. This guy is only a redirect. It doesn't add anything to the system at all. So I have it in the redirect and I have it up high because this is all downhill this way. since it's all downhill this way, I have it anchored to the car there. And then this is normally a dangerous position where I'm standing at, but there's very little tension under this right now. There's maybe, I don't know, 50, 60 pounds of tension on it. So that's what I'm doing here. I got that end wrapped. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to it and start pulling. I know, it flew off. It doesn't go very far, if you notice here. So it came off. I wrapped the stump. I need to figure out the proper way to do that, because obviously I'm doing something wrong when I go to wrap it, because like, oh, wrap it. I'm like, okay, I did, and then nothing happens. I'm gonna leave everything down here. I'm just going to, because I know that it's basically all broken loose here. I mean, obviously you can tell. So I think all I'm going to actually do here, I can't tell. Yeah, okay. Watering it did help, because all this stuff in here is gooey, even though it's clay. See, I didn't think it was actually going to work very well, because I'm like, well, we're such heavy clay here, it's probably not going to do anything. By the way, anybody's wondering, this right here, this is bamboo, and this is what the roots look like, and then there's more under there. It's right below the surface, and it just goes and then pops up everywhere, and I hate the stuff. It's hard to get it out of here. But at least this part's going to be gone. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave it here. All I have to do, I'm going to leave everything out. And, oh, God dang it, that's what happened. It broke it out again. I need to start going in deeper or something on this thing, because it keeps breaking off. What I'm going to do later is I'm going to leave everything out tonight, and I'm just going to throw the chain around it tomorrow, because it seems like the chain grabs a lot better. So I'm going to leave all my stuff out and then just do it and just pull it out real quick. I have to use the car, though, because I don't want to ruin this lawn too. I did the front, that's good enough. So that one's done, successful. 2 people can do a 6-inch pear, or a 6-inch hardwood. It's actually a hardwood, if you have enough space. If you have enough space, you can do it. The next 2, like I said, this guy's coming out. This one, gone. This one's gone. And at some point, I'm going to do a video for the solar panels that you can see there, by the way. And then all the stuff on the side is a charge controller and all the stuff for the solar. So hopefully, and these things were termite infested all the way in the roots here, so I have no idea. These might still be anchored, 5 feet, 10 feet deep. They might just rot off and I can almost push them over. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll find out. So that's it for this video. Probably next weekend, actually probably 2 weekends. I'm trying to get all my stuff planted, sweet corn, green beans, all that stuff. So that's why it's been a couple weeks since I did my last one, but as soon as I get everything planned, then we'll be done. So hope everybody has had a good week, and we'll see you next time. Probably maybe a week, but probably 2.